Hey, it's DBJ. Picked up a couple new things. Had to get the physical copies of Within the Ring of Fire books. I've got the Saga book, the core book, which is a PDF form. I got to get the physical one. I picked up, or ordered rather, 77 Thrones, Monsters and Men, and of course, Book of True Names. And mightily impressed. And there's a reason why I picked them up, had the physical copies. First of all, I'm an old fart. I love physical copies. I love being able to flip the pages. I absolutely love it. And this is, well, I don't want to say it's my second favorite. Love these two books, but this one is going to be is a review about 77 Thrones. And I'm not going to go through the workmanship. I got the softbound copy. It's got, colored pages in it. It's got pictures and things like that. That's not great, but that's not why I love this book. Okay. Yes, great artwork does draw my eye in and does keep my brain from being bored, but that's not the thing. What I love about this book and why I love it is that it completely encapsulates what being a cleric in medieval role-playing should be. Now, why would I say that? Well, the reason is because Dungeons & Dragons, throughout its history, specifically, has kept religion, clerics, and faith rather vanilla. And the reasons for that is because at everyone's table, every game, as the largest game-producing company, they have to keep it that way. I mean, because every person's going to have a different flavor. But one of the things I've always hated about clerics in role-playing, and I know that these companies do this on purpose, is that clerics are very vanilla, okay? Except for, hey, my character wears a holy symbol, and you come up with some kind of symbol or something. There's not much that differentiates one cleric from another. Not their colors or their behaviors, their holidays, their dogma, nothing. Except for picking, in 3.5, 5th edition, Pathfinder, you have domains. Okay, but what is your cleric? There has to be something about your cleric that makes you this faithful person, and it should show. This is not faith in our world, and there are people in our world where you can tell what their religion is, or close to it, by looking at them because of their dress, their mannerisms, the words that they speak, the holidays that they have, the symbols they wear on their body, the way they honor their dead. In our society, it would definitely be more important in medieval society, in D&D, because the gods are real, right? So, let's get back to the specifics of this book. I'm going to start out by saying that if you don't play this game, but you want clerics, and you love faith and religion, get the book. Well, I don't have that. Well, I've got a ton over my... of course, you cannot see it. I've got a ton of GURPS books. And I personally do not like the GURPS system. I'm sure there are people who are masters of it. I personally never felt it. It never felt organic to me. And I've never had a game master who knew it enough to make it feel organic to them to help me feel that way. That being said, I got a lot of GURPS books and I don't play GURPS. But the book, the information, the book itself is awesome. So, 77 Thrones. The reason why I suggest getting this book, even for your basic D&D, or a medieval world, or whatever other game you're playing, whether it's a Fate or Savage Worlds or a Dungeon World or something like that, and you want a pantheon, the reason is because this book has 77 different religious dogmas in it, and each one is detailed out. Okay? Each one. I'm going to go into why there's 77 within this game world, but these are the things that are noted for each religion. All right. You got your dominions, things like, for this particular goddess, there's like anxiety, defense, judges, justice, lawyers, shields, spiders, sports. There's a dominion. These are the things that this god has purveyance over. And then there are the parents of this god, the number that is associated with them, the weapon of choice. Okay, lance, javelin, gifts. Gifts are like what the things that god or goddess would prefer their followers to be part of. Really, kitty? Shields, rope making, things like that. The symbol of the god. Okay, all right, we got that. We got sacrifices, prayers. This one is said in the morning and at high noon. We have sacrifices. Helena demands that all magi be destroyed, and particularly prefers having them drawn and quartered by spider riders. Hanging them also pleases her. Okay. There's omens. These often come in the form of visitations from spiders or in spiders acting oddly. So each of these gods gives omens to their followers in particular ways, whether it's through water or dreams or taking drugs or in battle or during sex or something like that. They have typical followers and the races and cultures that follow them. Ceremonial dress. They favor the colors blue, brown, and white and the most impressive garments they can afford. The church. What the church looks like, where it is usually located. Helena's churches are usually large and impressive. The design often resembles a shield or a spider web. The name of the day. The holy text that is given. Theirs is called the Threads of Life. And the dogma. And I love this part. The dogma, the 9 acts of irreverence. And there's some notes and images of what this goddess looks like. And the courts that she is part of. So the dogma. You must learn all laws of the local populace so you may lead as an exemplary member of the community. And it goes on and on and on. Okay? And then there's the 9 acts of irreverence. Laziness, cowardice, showing pity, neglecting to learn local laws, refusing to kill a magus when you have the chance, failing to show respect to your superiors in this religion, neglecting to learn all you can about magic and trolls, killing an ectomy, and killing a spider. So, 77 of these in here, fully developed, right? So you can basically cut and paste any one of the gods or goddesses or lesser beings that people worship and just boom, pick one up, slap it into your game, change the name, keep the name, doesn't even matter, right? So, names of all the gods and goddesses and their respective levels, elder creators, trolls, things of that nature. But let's get back specifically to Within the Ring of Fire. I love the unique method of the time standard. In this game, there's something called a cycle, and a cycle is 77 days. Each one of those days is represented by a god. They represent a throne. So there was a war amongst the gods, and in Thraxu, one of the gods established this order and came up with 77 days, and each one of those gods represents one of those days, from day 1 in the early book all the way to day 77. And that god sits upon that throne. Now, it's not explicit in the book, but how I would love to use it is that on each one of those days, whatever dominions the god takes over on those days becomes that much more pronounced. So the day of starvation, no matter how much you eat, you just feel hungry. On the day of harvest, that's the day you should be harvesting food, because if you don't do it that day, what's going to happen? The day of birth, the day of war, whatever. All those things will be much more pronounced on those days. That's how I would use it. And time is measured by those cycles. Each one of those days, although 24 hours, has different days and levels of daylight and of sunlight and darkness, but they are not the same levels of sunlight and darkness on each day, although they are the same amount of light and darkness for that God each day of their throne. Okay, confusing. So, one particular God may have 10 hours of daylight. Each day, and I haven't looked in the book, so let's say they're day 29. I know I'm getting it wrong. If day 29 has 10 hours of sunlight, every time day 29 comes around, there's exactly 10 hours of sunlight. But the next day might only have 8 hours. The day after that might have 12 hours. It all depends on which God it is. At the end of the cycle, you have upwards of 24 hours of darkness. When you get back to day 1, you have 24 hours of sunlight. And then that cycle starts to go through. It is not exactly even, so it's not 24, 23, 22. But it tends to flow in that way with little peaks and valleys along the daylight, nighttime surfaces. And instead of years, everything is measured in 77 days or cycles. Okay? Little hidden note here. If you take this number and multiply it times 5, it comes out to be 365 days. So, if you see any of the races in the books, and they say they live for 450 cycles, you just divide that number by 5, and that's how many years it would be. But I like this time frame. I love the time schedule. Even on the book is evocative because these 2 moons represent almost like 2 eyes of the gods. And right here, there's just 1 star. So this is what the sky looks like. 2 moons and just 1 pink star right up here. Awesome. Awesome book. Within the Ring of Fire, I'm mightily impressed. I'm still trying to figure out a way for me to introduce people to it. I may do like a Google Hangout and just say, hey guys, anybody that wants to know about it, know about the system, about the rules, about the setting, the races and things, I'm probably going to try to do something like that. So anyway, another product review, kind of. Anyway, I love it. I'm going to use it, like whether I play like 5e or something like that, and just use it, plug and play it. I play a cleric. I'm going to pick one in here, and that's what my character's going to wear, what my character's going to sacrifice to their god or goddess or something like that. I love it. It's great. I mean, great book. Thank you, Raw Immersive Games. Thank you, Underwood. I put the money out for it. It's that good, so I believe in it. Anyway, you don't have to, but I would definitely suggest like watching some of the live plays and just asking around, see how people like it. I'm putting it up there with like Fate and Eclipse Phase and some of these other games that are brand new. I'm really impressed. I'm quite surprised. So anyway, thank you very much. DBJ, I'm out. As always, create, don't destroy. I love this book just because it creates so many ideas in my head. So you guys have a very good day. Thank you very much.